Discover the incredible moment a single dad transformed the life of a hidden CEO at a wedding. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the small-town wedding that felt like a scene pulled from a fairy tale. Laughter echoed across the garden, and the air buzzed with the scent of blooming wildflowers, freshly baked pies, and love. Jake, a weary yet determined 35-year-old mechanic and devoted single dad, stood by the punch table, his little boy Max playing with other kids nearby. They had come to celebrate, yet Jake's heart weighed heavily with the struggles of everyday life. Watching the couple exchange vows, he felt a tug at his heart, a blend of happiness and bittersweet longing. Being a single dad meant constant juggling, late nights fixing cars, and enduring judgment for choices he never made lightly. Yet here, amid twinkling lights and heartfelt toasts, hope fluttered around him like a butterfly, even if he felt far from that joyful world. I in the crowd, Amber, an unassuming wedding planner, forced to smile as she managed the event's chaotic details. She had always been the one to smooth things over, putting others' dreams above her own. She longed for freedom, but family expectations held her like shackles. Underneath her poised exterior, uncertainty gnawed at her. If only she could step out of the shadow of the perfect daughter and embrace her own ambitions. Suddenly, chaos erupted when the wedding rings went missing. An innocent mix-up turned disaster. Panic washed over the guests. Gasps filled the air. The bride and groom's faces turned from joy to sheer panic, and an uneasy silence swept through the garden. In the midst of the unfolding fiasco, Jake, guided by instinct, called out, "All right, everyone. Time to rally." His voice pierced through the tension, drawing smiles amidst concern. Quickly, he organized a search party, merging humor with a hint of competitiveness. Did someone think they could hide a ring from the whole town? He joked, igniting a wave of laughter that echoed across the worried faces. The crowd buzzed back to life as adults split into teams, pettiness replaced by light-hearted urgency. Amber stood back, mesmerized. His light-hearted resilience was magnetic. As guests shouted ideas and engaged in the hunt, she felt a warmth spread in her chest. Maybe there was strength in vulnerability. Watching Jake inspired something deep in her, a fire she thought she'd lost. As his son Max darted through the garden, she observed a beautiful bond, an unwavering love overly familiar yet so inspiring. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the last remaining glimmer of day faded, and just when it seemed the day might end in disappointment, Jake stepped forward, gathering everyone's attention. His heartfelt speech swept through the guests. Family is everything. It's about sticking together, facing the hard times, and lifting each other up. With each word, he weaved a tapestry of hope and determination, reflecting his own struggles. Amber listened, her heartbeat quickening. Here he was, a simple mechanic exposing his heart, while she, trapped in her own self-doubt, lingered in the shadows. Their eyes met, a moment of understanding forged in shared experiences. Could she truly break free? And did Jake see the potential beneath her constrained exterior? As the wedding drew to a close, and festivities carried on, they both stood at the edge of transformation. Hope danced in the air, but questions loomed just beneath the surface. What lay ahead for them both, and could they find the strength to redefine their futures together? The evening continued, soft music floated through the garden, mingling with the buzz of conversation and clinking glasses. Jake had retreated to a quiet corner, leaning against the foot of a sprawling oak, watching Max spin in circles with his new friends. The child's laughter was the sweetest sound in the world, but beneath that joy, Jake felt a quiet fear creeping back in. Would he ever be able to give Max the security and happiness he deserved? Amber, catching sight of him from across the garden, felt an inexplicable pull. She gathered her courage, set aside the clipboard filled with notes and remnants of her responsibilities, and strolled over. "Hey," she said softly, as if afraid to disrupt the fragile peace he had found. Jake straightened, a smile breaking through his pensive demeanor. "Hey there. Enjoying the quiet while you can?" Amber chuckled lightly. "Yeah, it's nice to take a breather." weddings can be madness. They shared a moment of comfortable silence, filled with the distant sounds of joyful songs and sporadic bursts of laughter. Amber shifted her weight, hesitating but intrigued by the man standing before her. "You really handled that ring situation like a pro." "I just did what I could." "It's all about keeping the spirit up," Jake replied. "I guess I find light even on the toughest days." "Isn't that true for you?" she asked, her voice dipping into reflection. "Sometimes I feel like I'm just going through the motions, planning other people's dreams while my own are gathering dust." Jake raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What's holding you back?" Her breath caught in her throat. She had never spoken so openly, especially about her dreams or frustrations. "You know, family expectations, fear of disappointment, the usual. I've got this safety net, but it feels more like a cage sometimes." Jake nodded, understanding the struggle in a flash. "I get that. Single parenting isn't about playing it safe, it's about forging your own way through the chaos." Amber's heart softened. She admired his spirit. This man had found a way to thrive amid his own burdens, yet here he was, helping others rise too. "I think family sticks together, even when it's tough. I want Max to see that life's not just about what's comfortable, but what feels right," Jake said, his gaze steady on her. As he spoke, something sparked in Amber, an awakening deep within her spirit. There was a calling to break out, to stop playing it safe. "You're right. Maybe it's time to make a change," she whispered, more to herself than him. Jake turned to face her fully. "Is that what you want?" The question hung in the air, layered with possibilities. Amber bit her lip, her mind racing with visions of a life lived boldly. She wanted to break the cycle of expectations that strangled her, but could she really? Their eyes locked for a fleeting moment, sharing an unsaid bond, a connection that felt electric. It was strange for both of them, but it felt right. Just as Amber opened her mouth to respond, a shout from Max broke through the serene atmosphere. "Look, Daddy! I found the ring!" They turned to see the little boy holding a shiny object high above his head, surrounded by thrilled children. Laughter erupted, pulling Jake back to parent mode. "That's my boy!" he exclaimed, rushing to his son. Amber followed, warmth blooming in her chest as she watched them. As the celebration continued, she couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted, both between her and Jake and within herself. Maybe, just maybe, she could finally pursue what her heart wanted, but as the night wore on, lingering doubts tugged at her mind. Could she take the leap? Would she have the strength to step into a world waiting just outside her comfort zone? With each joyous cheer echoing around her, questions lingered. Where would this new path take her? And would Jake be a part of that journey? The festivities swirled around them like a dream. The fairy lights twinkled overhead, casting a warm glow over the faces of friends and family lost in laughter and love. Yet, as Amber stepped closer to the group of children giggling around Max, her heart was a jumble of excitement and anxiety. Jake knelt beside his son, ruffling Max's messy hair as he admired the sparkling ring. "You really did find it. You're a hero today," he declared, laughter bursting from him. The joy in Max's face was contagious, the light in his eyes igniting warmth in Amber's chest. Suddenly, she felt small, like a crumpled piece of paper at the bottom of a pile. She was immersed in the joyful chaos, but her own aspirations seemed distant, wrapped in a somber reality that weighed heavy on her. Balancing everyone else's wishes felt easier than diving into her own. "Amber!" a voice called out. It was Mia, one of the other planners, waving enthusiastically as she approached. Her vibrant energy cut through Amber's thoughts. "You have to see the dance floor. It's electric right now." Amber smiled, but it felt a little forced. "Yeah, I'll be right there." Mobility regained, she watched Jake, still crouched beside Max. The way he engaged with their son, the playful laughter shared between them, it stirred something inside her. What would it look like for her to embrace that kind of joy? Mia's voice sliced through her reverie. "Come on. Dance with us. It'll be fun," she insisted, tugging lightly on Amber's arm. Okay, Amber said, her heart racing in a blend of fear and thrill. For once, she didn't want to hesitate. The thought of being wrapped up in laughter and rhythm was tempting. As she walked toward the dance floor, she caught Jake's eye. His gaze held a mixture of pride and appreciation, a silent acknowledgement of her presence that sent warmth flooding through her. They moved together with the crowd, a blend of swaying bodies, light-hearted banter, and twinkling lights surrounding them. Each beat of the music seemed to resonate deeper, unearthing a spark of happiness that had felt buried under years of expectation. Yet, as she danced, she caught herself glancing back at Jake. Would he see her differently now? Would she dare to break the mold of what she had become? Could she fit into his world, alongside crazy wedding plans and golden moments with Max? The thrill of dancing and the rhythm of the bass coaxed Amber deeper into the moment. She let go of her worries, allowing herself to feel the freedom of just being. Laughter bubbled up, and soon she found herself laughing alongside Mia and the others, feeling the pulse of life that had long seemed absent from her own. But just as she began to embrace this new sensation, a sudden stillness fell over the crowd. Heads turned toward a commotion near the buffet. A child had knocked over a table stacked with cake. Icing flew, laughter erupted, but the sight knocked the breath from Amber's lungs. "Mommy!" a little girl cried, one of her party's clients, standing distraught by the mess. Amber's heart sank as she saw the worried expression on the girl's face. It was chaos, yes, but in that moment, she saw a glimpse of her life, the balance of joy and responsibility swirling together. Without hesitation, she rushed toward the scene. "Don't worry. We can fix this," she reassured, her voice steady despite the flurry of chaos surrounding them. Jake watched her, an eyebrow raised in surprise and admiration. As he moved closer, his presence radiated support, backing her in a way that made Amber believe she could navigate this tidal wave of emotions. Was this her moment? Was now the time to leap? As she lost herself in the cleanup and laughter, a question lingered: could she merge her dreams with this newfound connection, or would external expectations pull her back into the shadows? With cake crumbs scattered and the cheerful buzz of the party spinning around them, Amber felt the anticipation growing. She was on the edge of something beautiful, yet uncertain. What would tomorrow bring? What decisions would she face when the music faded and reality beckoned? Amber found herself hunched over, wiping frosting from the tablecloth and catching glimpses of children giggling as they danced around the sugary chaos. In those sweet, messy moments, she felt an unexpected thrill, a spark of life and purpose. "See? Nothing to worry about," she said, smiling at the little girl whose eyes were still wide with concern. "A little frosting never hurt anyone. How about we make a new cake with our hands?" The girl blinked, then slowly nodded, her lips curling into a tentative smile. Amber reached for a handful of leftover cake and held it out, inviting the girl to grab some, too. That small act of silliness ignited laughter among the other kids, pulling even a few adults into the fun. "Look, they're happy," Amber called out, her laughter ringing out, mingling with the remnants of the party. The scene transformed around her, a whirlwind of frosting-covered hands in joyful, carefree moments. Jake stood nearby, watching with a grin as Amber immersed herself in making the best of an accidental disaster. He admired how effortlessly she commanded attention, her instincts guiding her to make a chaotic situation into something beautiful. He felt a tug at his heart, a longing to understand her better, to know the woman behind the planner who had kept their lives in order while she often seemed lost in the shuffle. Amber turned then, catching his gaze, and for a heartbeat, the world around them blurred. His eyes spoke volumes, holding admiration, warmth, and something else that made her heart skip. Could she really step into the light, be seen and loved for who she truly was? The moment hung between them, fragile yet exhilarating, until Mia whisked past, calling Amber back to the dance floor. "Hey! Join us. We need another cake fighter out there." She beckoned with an exaggerated hand wave. Amber chuckled and looked back at Jake, but his playful nod urged her on. "Go on. I'll help here," he assured her, leaning down to scoop up a handful of frosting and wiping it onto his shirt as he prepared to join in the fun. With a smile, Amber turned and dashed back toward the dance floor, her energy fueled by the laughter of children and the thrill of the moment. The music pulsed beneath her feet, intertwining with the sweet scent of cake frosting still lingering in the air. As she danced, a rush of freedom flowed through her. She let loose, twirling and laughing as the beat matched the cadence of her racing heart. For the first time in a long time, Amber felt a flicker of her desires reignite, a longing to blend the responsibilities of her life with the joyful abandonment she was discovering. Yet, even in the midst of the celebration, a thought nagged at her. Could she truly allow herself to embrace this joy without losing the part of herself that felt so deeply invested in others' happiness? Was she ready to share her vulnerable dreams with Jake, or was it easier to hide behind the chaos and laughter? As the music shifted into a slow, tender ballad, Amber caught Jake's gaze across the room. The energy swirled around them, but in that moment, it felt as if the rest of the world melted away, leaving only them and the beating of their hearts. He stepped closer, his presence like a warm fire on a cold night, and she could feel the weight of what might happen next. Would she risk creating a new reality for herself, one intertwined with laughter and love? With that thought, she took a deep breath, the world waiting with bated breath. The next beat would bring change, but would she take the leap? Would she embrace the moment and let herself be seen, or retreat back into what felt safe and familiar? Just then, the music shifted, and Amber knew the moment of truth was upon her. Amber's heart pounded as the music swelled, wrapping around her like a warm hug. Time seemed to slow just for them, her eyes locked on Jake. She could see the kindness in his gaze of familiarity that soothed her inner doubts. The moment felt monumental. She took a tentative step forward, uncharacteristically bold. As she neared him, the bustling laughter of children faded into the background, replaced by the rhythm of her thumping heart. When Jake extended his hand, a thrill raced through her. Did he feel it too? "Come dance with me," he said, his voice low and inviting. It was a simple request, yet it felt monumental. "Okay," she whispered, her spirit buoyed by the warmth of his smile. He pulled her closer, their fingers intertwining, a connection that ignited something deep within her. They swayed together, moving in perfect harmony. Jake's slightly offbeat footwork made her giggle, and she found herself leaning into his shoulder, relishing the gentle rock of the moment. The sweet scent of frosting blended with the woodsy smell of his cologne, grounding her even as her head spun with the exhilaration of being this close to him. In that shared silence, she felt the weight of gentle curiosity pressing between them. What did he see when he looked at her? Did he sense the struggle within? Did any of her vulnerabilities flicker on her face? Amber's mind raced. She wanted to share the truth that lay hidden beneath her cheerful facade, her dreams of owning a bakery, her fear of stepping away from her role as the caretaker, and how she sometimes felt like a ghost in her own life. But would he still want her if he knew? Just as the song shifted, twinkling notes lilting through the air, she caught a glimpse of his smile fading slightly. "What's wrong?" he asked, concern etching his features. The sincerity in his voice pulled her back from the edge of self-doubt. "Nothing," she replied, but the smile felt false on her lips. Can love really bloom in the midst of a whirlwind of hidden fears? Jake's hand squeezed hers, grounding her. "It's just I see you, Amber," he confessed softly. "You're more than just the party planner, there's something so vibrant about you. I want to understand." His words seeped into her, unwrapping the layers of uncertainty that bound her. Why was she so afraid? The world felt full of possibility, bursting like confetti all around them. She took a deep breath, letting hope intertwine with her fears. "What if I told you I have dreams of my own?" she ventured, her heart racing but also yearning. "Then I do want to hear them," he replied, his voice steady and sincere. With those 4 words, the air shifted. It was more than a mere invitation, it was affirmation. The specter of her aspirations leaned forward, eager and bright, suddenly feeling less daunting with Jake holding her hand. The whirl of the celebration faded around them, becoming a silent witness to this pivotal moment. "Okay," she said finally. "I want to share them with you." But first the music changed again, a lively beat filling the space. Jake grinned, his eyes dancing with mischief. "First, let us dance like nobody else watching." Amber laughed, the sound ringing out like a bell, filling her with warmth. She could do this. She could let herself feel the joy and let go of the fear. They began to move, her spirit lifted by his energy, and together they became part of the pulsating celebration, 2 souls intertwining amidst the chaos. But as the festivities swirled around them, a sudden thought gripped her. What if she opened her heart only to have it closed again? Amber stood at a crossroads, a choice looming ahead. Could she really take that leap, chasing her dreams and perhaps stepping closer to Jake? The next moment promised revelation, yet uncertainty lurked, waiting to test her resolve. As the final notes of the song lingered in the air, she looked toward the future bright but uncertain. Would she embrace this new path, or retreat back into her safe shell? Amber felt a spark of exhilaration course through her as they danced, her worries momentarily forgotten. The music pulsed around them, each beat echoing the uncharted possibilities that lay before her. It was intoxicating standing here, lost in the rhythm and Jake's presence. Yet, a part of her hesitated, shadows of doubt creeping back as the song shifted again, the vibrant beat fading into a more mellow tune. She pulled slightly away, trying to read Jake's expression. There was a softness in his eyes, a comforting warmth that made her heart feel simultaneously alive and quaking with fear. Amber, he started, his voice gentle but firm. What are your dreams? You mentioned them just a moment ago, and I need to know what makes your heart race. The question hung in the air, palpable and heavy. She had danced around her dreams for so long, hiding them beneath layers of duty and responsibility. It felt like standing on a ledge, looking down into the unknown, her pulse racing at the thought of leaping. I want to run my own bakery, she finally admitted, the words tumbling out before she could stop them. I've always loved to bake. Creating sweet treats feels like magic to me. Then you should do it. Jake encouraged, his excitement infectious. What's holding you back? Amber swallowed hard, her throat tightening. I worry about leaving my responsibilities behind. I take care of everyone, it's who I am. And what if I fail? What if no one wants to buy my cupcakes? The fear of failure felt like a heavy anchor dragging her down. But as she glanced at Jake, seeing unfiltered support in his gaze, a flicker of hope ignited within her. Maybe she could let go, just a little. Just enough to discover what could be. Amber, Jake said softly, his eyes locked onto hers, grounding her even through the swirling crowd. What if, instead of thinking about failure, you consider what happens if you succeed? You could spread joy through your baking, share it with the world. You deserve to follow your passion. His words washed over her like warm sunlight, inching away the doubt that crowded her mind. Amber felt a tear prick at the corner of her eye, a mix of gratitude and release. Do you really think I could do it? She asked, allowing herself to feel the warmth of his support wrapping around her like the softest blanket. I know you can, he replied confidently, and his smile lit up his features. You're so capable and talented. Just think of how many people would love what you create. Amber's heart raced again, but this time with a different kind of energy, a thrill of possibility. Jake wasn't just a dance partner, he was someone who believed in her dreams, someone who saw her. It was terrifying and wonderful all at once. They continued dancing, a connection blooming between them like flowers after spring rains. The laughter and chatter of partygoers faded away, leaving only the two of them wrapped in a moment that felt like a turning point, but suddenly, laughter erupted nearby, pulling Amber's attention. She turned to see a group of friends approaching, their playful banter like shiny bubbles popping in the air. They called out to Jake, pulling him back into their lively circle. Jake! Come join us. We need another dancer. One of them laughed, reaching for his hand. Amber's heart sank a little. In her moment of vulnerability, she hadn't realized how quickly things could shift. What if this was it? What if she was about to lose him? Just as she was starting to open up, Jake shot her an apologetic look, his expression filled with conflict. I'll be right back, okay? He promised, but as he stepped away, Amber felt a sadness creep in. Could he really understand all that she had just revealed? In that instant, everything felt fragile. The energy from before was drained, leaving doubt and fear in its wake. Was she really ready to take that leap? To chase her dreams and maybe just maybe step closer to Jake? As she watched him join his friends, Amber realized that the choice for her future wasn't just about following her dreams. It was also about embracing the connections she could build along the way. Would she find the courage to step out of the shadows, both in her life and with Jake? What if I step forward and open my heart, she whispered to herself, and what if it leads to something incredible? The party swirled around her, anticipation building deep within. Just as she felt rooted to the floor, uncertainty began to bubble back to the surface. Would Jake return before her heart closed up again? An inner voice propelled her thoughts into a question. Could she ride this wave of bravery and chase after her dreams, or retreat back to the safety of her predictable routine? As Jake turned to look back her way, a smile on his face, Amber knew this moment was far from over. An unexpected choice loomed closer, one that felt just as pivotal as the dance they shared. Amber's heart drummed in her chest as she watched Jake laugh, his carefree spirit drawing the attention of their friends. She felt a mix of warm affection and simmering anxiety, each emotion colliding within her like dancers on the floor. How could she hold on to this moment, to the hope he inspired, while feeling the weight of uncertainty pressing down hard? The music turned upbeat again, and the infectious energy swept through the crowd, but Amber felt far removed from the festivities surrounding her. She found herself standing at the edge of the dance floor, half a world away from where Jake was enveloped by his friends. The laughter sliced through her air of anticipation, and isolation crept back in, filling the spaces she had just begun to conquer. Yet even in that stupid emotional turmoil, Jake's earlier words brightened her mind. Success. What did it mean? Would it be baking her way into people's hearts, or was it finding the courage to unlock her own? She took a deep breath, letting the music wash over her. Maybe she didn't need to chase Jake down just yet. Instead, she could breathe and plant her own roots right where she stood. Hey, Amber. You good? One of her friends, Tara, called out as she glided past, wrapped in laughter. Her bright smile broke through Amber's clouded thoughts. You look like you just spotted a ghost. Amber forced a smile, but it flickered as doubt crawled back up her spine. Just thinking. About what? Jake? The bakery? Tara teased, winking. Come on, girl. He's way out of your league, don't overthink it. What if I'm not ready? Amber replied, her voice softer than she intended. What if I chase my dreams and fall flat? You feel that about him? Tara pressed. Just look at him. You've been lit up since the first song. Take the leap, girl. Life is too short to play it safe. Amber felt a drip of courage pulse through her. Maybe Tara was right. It was time to emerge from her shell, to step into the spotlight. To not only take a chance with her dreams but also her feelings. All right, she replied, determination flaring in her chest. Let's see how this night plays out. With renewed purpose, she started walking toward Jake, who still commanded the room, his laughter infectious. As she made her way through the throng of people, she felt a surge of strength. Maybe tonight wouldn't just be about dancing but about trusting herself and what made her come alive. Jake caught her glance across the room, his eyes widening with delight as he spotted her. His expression shifted, no longer just the carefree dancer, he looked genuinely excited to see her. Hey, Amber. There you are. He pushed through the group to close the distance between them. She felt her heart race again, this time from anticipation rather than fear. Can I dance with you? She asked, her voice perhaps braver than she felt. Absolutely. Jake offered, his grin brightening the evening. He took her hand warmly, pulling her into the circle of friends, their energy merging with her newfound resolve. As they began to sway to the rhythm, Amber felt liberated, each step shedding her doubts like old skin. The world around her faded, leaving just them dancing in a space where dreams mingled with reality. But suddenly, the music slowed once more, wrapping the crowd in a cozy embrace. Jake leaned down slightly, his lips inches from her ear. I need to tell you something. Amber's heart stuttered. Her breath caught. Was he about to lay bare his feelings? And as the words lingered in the air, a weight both thrilling and terrifying settled in the pit of her stomach. In that moment, could it all be just as fabulous as she wished, or would doubt creep in again? What if he changes everything? She thought, pulse pounding, the potential for joy and terror igniting her senses. Just as anticipation peaked, the moment hung in fragile balance. Would this dance lead to something she never expected? Amber's mind raced, caught between the electrifying possibility of Jake's confession and the fear of the unknown. The room felt both alive and suffocating as she focused on the warmth of his breath against her ear, a moment stretched thin with vulnerability. What is it? She managed to whisper, her voice trembling slightly as hope and dread battled within her. Before we came here, Jake paused, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. The confidence that usually radiated from him wavered, leaving Amber feeling exposed. The crowd faded, their laughter reduced to a muted hum, and all she could sense was the space between them, the hope, the wish, the sheer weight of what was left unsaid. "I really like spending time with you," he continued, his voice steadying as he took a step back to meet her eyes. "You have this light about you that draws me, and another thing is, I think you might be." Her heart quickened, racing ahead of his words. Did he mean that? Did he see her? "I think you might be." A loud cheer erupted from across the dance floor, interrupting his confession. A group nearby had just executed a particularly impressive dance move, and the moment shattered like fragile glass. Amber's heart sank, aching with frustration. Jake half smiled, shifting back into the moment, but the pause had cracked her resolve. What if they never got a chance to return to this moment? What if she never discovered what he was trying to say? "Can we?" she started, but the words danced on her tongue, hesitant and afraid to leap. She felt brave a moment ago, yet the beat of her own heart now drowned out her voice. "Can we step outside for a moment?" "Sure," he replied, his lively spirit unshaken. He led her through the crowd, their fingertips brushing, igniting sparks that coaxed back some of her courage. As they pushed through the wooden door on the patio, the cool night air embraced them, offering a stark contrast to the warmth of the thumping music inside. The stars painted the sky, their twinkling light reminding Amber of dreams unclaimed. She could finally breathe again, free from the rhythm of the dance floor. "Wow. It's beautiful out here," Jake said, leaning against the railing, eyes absorbing the night sky. "It is," Amber replied, swirling around the landscape of thoughts in her mind. She couldn't hide her apprehension. "Jake, I think there is something I want to share with you." He turned to her, an earnest expression settling on his face. "Me too," he said, voice softer now. "But you go first." Amber clenched her fists tightly, the moment so precious it felt like it might slip right through her fingers. What if she told him about her dreams and he didn't understand? What if she shared her fears and he walked away, but then she remembered Tara's words: life was too short to play it safe. Taking a deep breath, she spoke. "I want to start my own bakery someday." Jake's brow furrowed in surprise, but then he grinned. "That's awesome. You're amazing in the kitchen. I've tasted your cookies." But she wasn't finished. "But I'm scared. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail?" He stepped closer, understanding in his eyes. "Amber, success isn't just about the end result. It's about taking the leap. You have to trust yourself." As the weight of his encouragement washed over her, she could feel another truth bubbling inside her. "What about you, Jake? What were you going to say back there?" He inhaled deeply, glancing back toward the dance floor where the music pulsed with life. Then, he focused back on her, and she felt like the world around them faded away. "I wanted to say I think you could be someone incredible, and, selfishly, I want to be by your side while you find your way." Amber's breath caught, joy filling the spaces once occupied by doubt. But before she could respond, the sound of laughter drew their attention, their friends milling about, glowing with the carefree energy of the night. Amber's heart danced nervously at the thought of what might come next. Could she take this leap with him, embracing both her dreams and the one standing before her? As she glanced sideways to Jake, his face illuminated by the string lights overhead, a thought grasped at her. What if she was ready to explore more than just her dreams? "Just give me a moment to decide," she thought, considering her next step as the night unfolded around them. With the laughter drifting in waves from the dance floor, Amber felt the electricity of the moment crackling in the air. Her heart raced, caught between the warm glow of hope and the icy grip of uncertainty. Jake's words hung between them, heavy yet exhilarating. "Amber?" Jake's soft voice pulled her from her thoughts. "What is going on in that beautiful head of yours?" His sincerity felt like a gentle nudge, coaxing her to peel back the layers of her fears. Amber met his gaze, her heart a blend of excitement and trepidation. The stars twinkled overhead, teasing her dreams of the future. She realized that this night was not just about dancing and laughter, it was about possibilities. I don't want to mess this up," she finally confessed, the words spilling out with an urgency she didn't expect. "I've always kept my dreams tucked away. I've never really let anyone in. Jake stepped forward, eyes widening with concern. You're not messing anything up. You're being brave, Amber. That's what matters. The sincerity in his voice washed over her like a soothing balm. Could she trust him with more than just her aspirations? Could she let down her guard and show him the pieces of herself she'd kept hidden? Okay, she breathed in, feeling the warmth of his presence anchor her. What if I told you about the time I flaked on my first big baking opportunity? I was terrified. I thought it would be easier to protect myself by avoiding failure. I want to hear it, Jake encouraged, leaning in as if her story was the centerpiece of his world. Amber's heart warmed at his unwavering support. I had a chance to showcase my pastries at a local cafe, but when it came time to present, I panicked. I convinced myself I wasn't good enough, and I backed out at the last minute. He frowned, crossing his arms. That's tough. But you did it for a reason, right? Maybe part of you wasn't ready. It's more than that. I've always worried what would happen if I failed, if people didn't like what I made, she said, the vulnerability spilling out in a rush. Being liked is so important to me, but I've realized recently that it's okay not to be perfect. Your words are pushing me to confront that. Jake's eyes softened, filled with understanding. Amber, everyone has fears. But imagine how freeing it would be to embrace the potential failures. It can lead to amazing things. The weight lifted slightly. She felt emboldened by his belief in her. But beneath the excitement lingered another question, a creeping doubt. And what if it doesn't go the way we hope? She asked quietly, her heart aching at the possibility. If it doesn't, then we pick ourselves back up and try again. Together, he said firmly, a promise in his voice that made her heart race anew. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, the universe shrank down to just the two of them. Every word they exchanged danced in the air like the flicker of the stars above, bright with hope and possibility. A gentle breeze rustled through the trees, and Amber let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. You're right, she said softly. I want to embrace the risk. This is my time to step out of the shadows. Exactly, Jake replied, a smile spreading across his face. You are meant for more, Amber. Your bakery will be a reflection of your heart. Amber felt a flicker of boldness igniting within her. What if they weren't just taking this leap together for her dreams? What if this was about both of them unlocking something more profound? Jake, what if she began, but before she could finish her thought, a sudden shout broke through the night. Their friends burst outside, dragging them back into the swirling fun and laughter of the party. Come join us. One of them called, beckoning as if they were missing the adventure of a lifetime. Jake glanced from the party to Amber, his eyes sparkling with mischief. How about we dive back in? No pressure, just fun. We can talk more later. Amber's heart raced not just from the prospect of dancing but from the excitement of everything hanging in the balance. Could they truly continue this deeper exploration? Yeah, let us go, she said, the thrill of the moment echoing in her chest. But as they turned to join their friends, one lingering thought remained: was she ready for everything that could unfold next? As laughter filled the air once more, Amber walked alongside Jake, the night still ripe with possibilities. Something profound was waiting just around the corner, a truth she sensed might reshape everything they had just begun to explore together. Would the unfolding journey bring them closer or push them apart? In the cosmic dance of fate, the next step was still shrouded in mystery, and as she moved into the heart of the evening, the next chapter of her life felt tantalizingly near. The night swirled on like a kaleidoscope of laughter, music, and dancing. Amber could feel the energy pulsing through the crowd, and it echoed in her heart, igniting a surge of anticipation. She and Jake moved with ease, the rhythm uniting them as they entered the lively dance circle. Lights twinkled overhead, casting an ethereal glow as if heralding the dawn of new beginnings, yet, amid the adventure, Amber felt a whisper of doubt creep in. What if this was all a fluke? What if she couldn't step up to the plate? But yet again, Jake's encouraging words played in her mind. You are meant for more. It was a mantra wrapping around her heart, spurring her forward. The music shifted to a slower melody, and the vibrant energy in the air began to soften. Jake turned to her, an inviting smile lighting up his face, and extended his hand. Let us take a breather on the sidelines. I want to hear about your dream, really hear it. Sure, Amber replied, a flutter of excitement mixed with anxiety stirring in her stomach. They found a quiet spot near the edge of the dance floor, where the music became a soft backdrop to their conversation. Tapping into her courage, she took a deep breath. I've always dreamed of opening a bakery. Baking fills my soul with joy, it feels like breathing to me, she began, the words flowing freely. I imagine creating a place where people can escape, where they can find comfort in something sweet. But I never thought it was something I could chase. Jake listened raptly, his eyes fixed on her, never wavering. And now? He prompted gently. Now. I want to leap, she confessed, her voice gaining strength. I want to build something meaningful, to offer a piece of myself to the world. But the fear of falling flat has stopped me every time. He stepped closer, the warmth of his presence grounding her. Fear can be a ghost that haunts us, but chasing your dreams is the only way to dispel it. You have so much talent, Amber. I know you can do this. She felt a rush of gratitude wash over her, pulling her fears further away. Accepting that kindness was a pivotal shift. She opened up more. What about you, Jake? What's your dream? Jake's expression shifted for a moment, as if a shadow had crossed his features. But he steadied himself, meeting her gaze confidently. Honestly, I've been so focused on everyday life that I haven't really taken time to think about what I want. But being here with you makes me wonder. I want to be a role model for Max, teaching him to find joy and courage. And maybe to build something of my own too. Something shifted between them, a shared understanding and vulnerability that felt electric. She realized they were standing on the precipice of a new journey, not alone, but side by side. The true connection ignited a spark of excitement. Just then, Max burst through the party, his tiny voice ringing out, Daddy! Look what I made! He held up a paper crown, covered in frosting and glitter, the proudest expression plastered on his little face. Amber's heart swelled at the sight. Wow, that's amazing, buddy! Jake's praise was immediate and infectious, seeing the joy of father and son filled Amber with warmth. In that moment, it hit her that both their dreams were intertwined. With Jake, their lives could flourish together, each pushing the other toward greatness, acceptance, and love. As the dance beat returned, Amber offered her hand to Jake. Let us show Max how to have fun. With excitement bubbling inside them, they joined the dance floor. The rhythm swept through them, lifting their spirits even higher. In the crowd, laughter filled the spaces where doubt had previously dwelled. She spun and twirled, lost in the moment, feeling everything shift, her dreams no longer lurking in the shadows but glowing brightly before her. As they danced, Amber spotted Tara across the room, her infectious smile beaming like a lighthouse. She beckoned Amber with a wave of enthusiasm. Dance like you mean it! Tara shouted, nudging her cheerfully as if encouraging Amber to embrace this moment without holding back. The effects were immediate. Amber lost herself in the music, swaying, laughing, feeling the world fall away. With each beat, she became less of a ghost in her life and more of a vibrant dreamer, stepping boldly into her future. Time slipped past in a beautiful whirl of polka dots and dance moves, laughter ringing out like music notes in the air. And with every twirl, she felt lighter, braver. By the end of the night, as the final song played, Amber found herself wrapped in an unexpected embrace with Jake, their laughter mingling with the fading music. Please promise me we'll keep each other accountable for our dreams? She asked, bright-eyed and hopeful. I promise, he said, sealing it with a warm smile. As they stepped back, she realized the fears that had once held her captive were nothing compared to the thrilling chance at joy and love before her. They would face their dreams, together hand in hand, heart to heart, and in the quiet embrace of the night, a soft breeze whispered through the trees, carrying with it the promise of an exciting future. Moments of sweet vulnerability intertwined with exhilarating connection. Amber sensed that she'd taken a leap not just toward her dreams but into building a life full of love and courage, as bright as the stars above. The shimmering potential of tomorrow stretched out before her, no longer just a dream, but a vibrant reality waiting to be shaped. This was more than just a night at a wedding. This was a new beginning, and Amber knew, deep down, that together, they could create something truly incredible. Now, the question is, are you ready to jump into your own dreams? Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to support the channel.